Is this new batch going to make you scared? What's up, sneaky people? It's your boy FB Kicks and Gear, and I am back with another video, and this time we are doing part 3 of my legit check guide for the Jordan Jumpman Jack TRs. And I've been getting mixed reviews about this shoe. I know that there are people that do like the shoe and they appreciate the shoe for what it is, but it's clear to me and probably most of the sneaker community that these are not regarded with the same level of hype as the Travis Scott Jordan 1s. And even though Jordan 1s have fallen off, Travis Scott Jordan 1s not so much, even though the performance of the latest shoe, the Canaries, are the lowest reselling Travis Scott Jordan 1s ever. But this is still a shoe that is costing about $450 to $550 depending on your size, and because of that, whenever there's an update, whenever there's a new batch, I'm going to update my legit checking guides so that you guys can stay informed and know what's going on in this sneaker market. So with that said, before we get into the actual video, remember you can see all of the pictures that you need of this shoe on the Instagram account on your screen. It is very, very, very important that you guys know the details and you focus and hone in on those things so that you know you're not getting scammed for 500 bucks. So with that said, let's get into the video. And just like in the first two parts, the first thing that I'm going to go into is the box and the carrying bag that it comes with, because those have by far been the easiest legit checking indicators for me. So let's do that. In this case, we are still looking at a color difference between the boxes. The browns are different. The sail, cream, jack, and letterings are different colors slightly. And not only that, this is more raised and glossy on the authentic than it is on the rep, although this rep feels a little bit more higher raised than other reps that I felt in the past. So maybe they are starting to adjust their manufacturing process on the boxes, and you can see all of this stuff around the shoe is raised gloss lettering, and you're able to really see that difference between the colors and the letter when you do it side by side like that. So definitely something easy to look at when it comes to these shoes, and the box is still a pretty good legit checking indicator. But once we move on from the box, we have these bags that it seems like these rep factories just have struggled with to get right, and mostly has to do with color. If you look here, here's the authentic bag on the left, and here is the rep bag on the right. Obviously, they are drastically different colors. This is more of a greenish kind of brown, while this is definitely more of a dark mocha brown. And you can see that not only are they different colors, but they're different lengths as well. And this is something that I've seen across the board when it comes to reps. And when you look at the wax lace tips, you see that there's also a different color in those as well. It's definitely a darker, more vibrant orange on the authentic, and it's definitely more muted on the rep. From there, there's also a feel difference on the bags themselves. The embroidery looks pretty similar, although I see that the embroidery is definitely a little bit fatter and less neat on the rep than it is on the authentic, and you could see that highlighted with the Cactus Jack faces. And that is it for the box and the bags. They're very, very easy. If you have access to an authentic box and bag, you'll be able to eliminate every single rep that I have seen so far in terms of legit checking. But with those out of the way, let's actually get into the shoes. So here we have the authentic pair on the left, and we have the new rep on the right, and we're just gonna get right into it. The color differences are what we wanna look for when it comes to the legit checking of these shoes. So let's get them side by side and see what we can see. And I think it's pretty noticeable when they're side by side that there is a slight difference in color between the brown canvas of the authentic and the brown canvas of the rep. It feels like these are a little bit closer. It looks like they're starting to get closer and closer to that authentic brown, but definitely a little bit lighter. When you look at it on the side, it's the same kind of deal. And you just start to see an overall color difference in the different sections. The materials feel the same, but that color difference is where everything comes into play. You can see that the sail reverse swoosh is definitely lighter on the rep and darker on the authentic. You can see that the gum midsoles are different color comparing the authentic to the rep, and it looks like it's darker on the rep, at least from this side, and it's lighter on the authentic. And then we go to the bottom, you still see that as well, and you see this gloss on the bottom of the jack that is not apparent on the authentic either. So this is definitely something that I've been able to pick up on reps, and it's something that will allow you to identify a authentic pair for sure. You want to see a matte finish to those Cactus Jack letters. Moving on to the back, we are going to continue with the color differences. One of the things that I've noticed across the board when it comes to these reps is that there is a slight difference in color between the leather on the authentic compared to the rep. The white is definitely lighter on the rep and darker, more cream on the authentic. And then it's like the exact opposite when it comes to this suede patch up at the top of the ankle, and it's lighter on the rep for sure. You can see that the materials feel the same, but it is a difference in color. And while we're looking at it, you can see the embroidery differences between the authentic here and the rep, those Cactus Jack faces. I tend to not really pay that much attention to the embroidery on Cactus Jack shoes or Travis Scott shoes because the embroidery tends to be pretty bad. There's a side-by-side for you guys that like those details. But from there, we'll take a look at the inside. Swoosh. And you can see those color differences extenuated on all of those panels of the shoe. You probably wouldn't notice the color difference without putting them side by side, but nonetheless, it's definitely something you can use to legit check, in my opinion. Outside of that, the shape is pretty good. I've noticed a wider toe box on the rep than on the authentic, which is a little bit more slim. And you also notice that the embroidery on the strap tends to be a lot bolder and bigger on the rep than on the authentic. There's just something different in their process. And overall, I would say while the materials definitely feel the same, I'm always seeing a little bit more tumble and texture on the leather of the authentic than I am on the rep. And I think that just has to do with just there being a tad bit more softness to the materials on the authentic pair compared to the rep. But we have the tongues, and again, you see a slight difference in color between the red embroidery on the tongue of the rep and the red embroidery on the tongue of the authentic. And then those changes, that theme kind of extends itself to the stock liner as well. It's just overall a different color. I can't tell you why reps do things the way they do in terms of color accuracy. These reps always knock it out of the park when it comes to the quality of the materials and the type of materials used. But when it comes to color accuracy, that is just where reps struggle. And I will say, while this is definitely one of the better ones that I've seen, you still see some of those similar issues. And that can be really highlighted by the insole as well. You pull the insole out and it's definitely a more flexible insole. You can really see those color differences. You'll see that the Jumpman is a brighter red on the rep and it's a darker red on the authentic, but you'll also see that there's a difference in color when it comes to the brown and the tan of the design that's going on. And when it comes to the insoles, outside of the color, the real difference shows up with how they react to the black light. You can see that the Jumpman is really bright and reactive on the rep and not so much anything else. But when you look at the authentic, the white definitely lights up, or the designs definitely light up significantly more than on the rep. And that's really what it comes down to when we're talking about the blacklight test. I'm not going to do a full blacklight test on this because time after time, this is really the only thing that stands out when it comes to the blacklight. Look at that difference. But outside of that, there really is not that much to it. The laces always come more tightly bundled in the rep than they do in the authentic. Slightly different colors, but not really that crazy. And outside of that, the shoe, in my opinion, still super legit checkable. The quality is A1. I keep telling people this all the time. You are not going to tell a rep apart from little quality differences in the shoe. Authentic pairs are not perfect. They are mass-produced products. You are not going to be able to differentiate by quality. You will be able to differentiate by accuracy. You should be concerned about accuracy. That means colors, that means materials, that means shape. Those are the things that you want to look at when you are trying to determine authenticating. I struggle with this a little bit. I'm going to get on my soapbox because I get tons of emails and messages with people asking me to legit check their shoes, and everything that I would do to legit check these shoes is exactly what I'm showing you in the video. If you have to do the extra work to get yourself in front of an authentic pair, do that, right? If you want to make sure that you are getting what you paid for, make sure that you're not just relying on the video. Do the extra legwork. It'll be worth it. And as much as people don't want to admit it, owning authentic shoes is not a bad thing either, right? They do, to an extent, preserve their value. And in a lot of cases, with all of the Travis Scott Jordan 1s that I've done, every single one of them has gone up in value since I purchased them for this series. So it's not all bad. I'm not telling people not, to go and spend that kind of money on shoes, but it is what it is, right? So remember, guys, do the work, do the legwork. So with that said, guys, remember, you can find more pictures of the rep on the Instagram account that's going to pop up on the screen. Doing the research is important. Notice the similarities between the things that I pointed out in this video and other videos to really shape the way you legit check these shoes, and you'll be just as knowledgeable as I am. So with that said, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.